Hey,
Hey,
we're back. Wow, that was tough. We're having some strange technical issues today. Well, not so strange. We sort of know how what's going on, but let's just say we were not expecting them today, and
unexpected. Yes.
unexpected. But
Not,
anyways, I
not
got my light
unheard
working.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
really quickly, we're going to go through this when we have a short session today. Just so you know, next week I'm going to be at the Power Platform Conference. Hopefully Friday I'm back in Chicago and we can do the show and all things are fixed. And then hey, I'm actually speaking at Ignite, sir. So more news
nice.
on that.
Congratulations.
That is a big
Pretty
one.
awesome.
We talk about it soon one day, as it'll be behind the paywall probably. We'll see. But more
I'm not
importantly,
traveling. I'm not traveling there, but I am going to watch it virtually.
oh,
So,
okay, yes, I
oh,
know you'll be there for in spirit, and if I have to call phone a friend, I know who'll be there.
there you go.
Speaking of which, phoning the friend, we promised last week we were going to do a little bit of back to the basics. Let's look at our what we used to love
So,
and do that Larry gets to do.
yeah.
Tell us,
So
Larry, what are we looking at?
we've not done code katas in years and years and years. A kata is just a way that we practice, kind of go through the motions so that we can build up muscle memory.
Who?
And there's a great site called Code Wars that I've just recently found. I've not actually done any of the code katas on it,
Oh,
so we'll be seeing it and learning it all kind of
oh,
live.
that's interesting. You're new to Code Wars. I've had Code
I've,
Wars here for a long time. That's one of my old
I've,
one go
I've
tos.
not I've not used it.
That you
So
used the other one. I can't. What was the other
I
one called?
yes, I what I did was the other the
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're around anymore, but yeah.
so
Ah,
anyway, so
he
what I'm
did.
going to do is I'm just going to start training. I'm an 8 KU, so I've not actually done any training yet. So let's just start, and we'll start training now. I have actually I've got a student that I'm working with who's learning C sharp, and I turned him on to this because I looked it up and found it, and so I've watched him use it. So I've done it
Hmm.
in pairing, but I've not done it myself. So let's
Oh,
start
wow. This is like discovery in more ways than one.
discovery in more ways than one. So here we are. We click train. I'm training in C sharp. This is a 6 KU, so this is pretty high. Persistent bugger. So one of the things that's interesting is all of these problems are user generated, user created. So the problem and the solution are both going to be there. It also has its tests. It has a test fixture
Oh,
that's built for it.
oh, it's giving you a good skills, not good skills, good practices from the
Good,
get go.
right? So here I'm gonna be awful, and I'm just gonna return one. Okay, just for fun, because I want the code to be able to run, and it does have a return on it. So this is C sharp code at the
Uh huh.
top. So it is a public static int. That means it's
Integer.
returning an integer.
Yeah.
Um, this is the method name. It takes in a long, and it returns an int. So I'm going to test it, and it should fail. And there we
Test
go,
failed.
failed. It expected a 3 but got a 1 on one of the basic tests.
Huh.
Okay, so the first one should have been a 3.
Oh, look.
So wait, what is this persistence? So we need to look at the instructions. The instructions say that it takes a positive integer parameter and returns its multiplicative persistence, which is the number of times you must multiply the digit in number until you reach a single digit. So let's look at this for a second. And I cheated and went over to Wikipedia. Aha,
And they
love those
happen to
guys.
have exactly that.
And they happen to have exactly that. So here is, some examples. I'm going to pull this one. Yeah, let's pull the big guy. See if the big guy will work. That should be a persistence of 11, but I'm not going to do it. I'll do one of the smaller ones just for fun.
Uh
Let's
huh.
add another test. Assert R equal 11.
11.
Persist. Not big number.
That monster number. There we go.
So this is what's cool too, is this is actually C sharp. But it's a live editor. It's like VS Code. So it's an embedded editor, and we'll talk about what goes on with that a little bit later. But for this first one, let me just put in comments out here what's going on. This is 3 times 9, which gives you 27. Okay. And
Oh, could you not copy paste from what's up there, the because on the left-hand side?
Oh, they've already got it listed.
Yeah, they gave you the example output right up there.
That's it. Yeah, because 3 times 9 is 27.
I'm that lazy. I saw it somewhere. I'm like, I'm copying pasting, buddy.
All right. So now let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to let's take var temp equals n dot to string.
It's not quite IntelliSensing you. It's letting you fail slightly.
It's not. And you know, one of the things that I did want to look at, I want to talk about the .NET compiler platform, Roslyn, because that allows you to do analysis. And one of the great things is that OmniSharp is a Roslyn based library that lets you add IntelliSense to pretty much anything you want, any editor.
Ooh.
Yeah, very cool. There's a live version of VS Code that you can use. All right.
Right.
For me, this is yeah. So this is going to be a little bit difficult because you know, no IntelliSense. You know what?
We'll try to watch for your spelling errors.
Can I cheat? Is it okay if I cheat?
How are you going to cheat? Oh, you're going to open up VS Code?
Yeah.
Okay. Code it. Code dot.
C drive, CD source, mkdir code wars, CD code wars, mkdir.
Out of one. Oh, persistence.
TNT, and .NET new console. Sure. And then code dot.
This is called muscle memory right there, folks.
All right. So now here's my code. Here's my program. Oh, look.
By the way, that .NET command is what gave him all that stuff. Otherwise, he would have had a blank. I kept saying code dot, but he remembered that he just had to set it up ahead of time. There we go.
So and what's interesting too, this is a new look, right?
Yeah.
So this is just a naked console.write line. It's been a while since we've done C# on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to convert it back to the program main style because that's the way I grew up.
All right.
I'm going to convert it back to this. Makes it a little bit easier.
Nice.
Now,
by the way, it's that VS Code is not the same one we used like what 5 years ago. Look at all these improvements.
Look at all the improvements here.
Look at that.
I'm gonna drop this class down here. Okay. Oh, and it's yelling at me already because I don't have a return. Okay. Let's do
right.
Up here, return 0.
Oh, I thought we were returning 11.
So I'm going to come up here then and start calling my method. So this is going to be console.writeLine. Persistence, and I want 39. Okay.
All right.
So now if I run this, run without debugging, .NET 5.
You get a console showing up in a moment.
I don't see my console. You know what? I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use it.
Isn't it right there in the, oh, no.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm just going to use it for the IntelliSense.
Okay.
So now temp is an array, right? So I'm going to do a for each. Oh, wait, let's do int.
You're going to just call it num?
Equals 0. Oh, count. Yeah, count.
That's, more accurate.
Count. greater than 1.
So we're multiplying.
X in
Oh, it's a string.
temp dot, oops, temp dot, right?
All right.
Okay. Oh,
And you got it.
not a string. It's going to be a car that's coming back. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because it's individual letters.
Right.
A string is already a group.
It's all right. Int new equals int dot parse.
Whatever is an X. But is X is a car, though.
I'll turn it back to a string. I'm not trying to be clever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now for each one of those, I'm going to get value. So let's start up here with my my accumulator. I'm going to set it equal to 1 to begin with because it needs to start out as 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I can say accumulator times equals X.
Times equals is how you just bring it up.
Right. And then say here, accumulator is going to be long. I'm going to turn it into long. And we want to say take that off. Let's not.
Hold on, I didn't catch you.
I'm going to while loop off. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to return accumulator dot, oops, not byte.
Interesting.
Accumulator dot string dot. Okay. Let's just try this. Let's see what this does. This looks interesting.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to work.
Well, it's not going to pass the test, that's for sure.
I'm going to pass the test, but it's not going to explode.
But it's going to do something.
It's going to do something, and we kind of see what's going on. I'm going to cheat and do yeah, let's test it. Test. What do we get back? Oh wait, string does not contain a definition for to array.
Ah, interesting.
Ah. I must need a using reference that I don't have.
Now it didn't get mad over here in the IntelliSense.
Right. I should have chosen an easier problem.
Maybe.
It stopped. So I've got using system up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying to array it doesn't like.
I mean, when you do the IntelliSense and you hit the dot on there, is to array even a choice?
So I don't get IntelliSense with this guy.
No, but over here, to array
Here?
came through.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So are they thinking that their system is not the same as your system?
Could be. Yeah.
Because it's almost like a point of view. It's like if I'm using a certain version of something, if my system is different and I don't have a to array in mine, while yours does, obviously, you selected .NET 5, right?
It's just C#.
It's just C#. It's nothing special
Oh,
about it.
look, I just used 10.
Oh, look.
Here we go.
So it didn't need a to an array because it was already considered an array for this purpose.
I guess.
You didn't have to array it. So in fact, if you go to the other one, to your original VS Code, if you take that out, will it still pass over here?
Does it? Does it mind? Oh yeah, it doesn't mind.
Aha. So maybe it is trying to teach you something.
It is.
You did not have to put the superfluous to array because they don't like you.
Right.
Oh, we learned. Well, if folks that are coding, we've just learned that you don't have to be as detailed as Sir Lair here. All right. What do we got? Well, the test failed because obviously it's not doing the math yet.
Console right line our accumulator and see if we can see what we've got. I don't have a debugger, right? Oh look, 2907.
Well, so that number didn't come out because your entry is what, 39? What was your entry?
39. There's something wrong. So let's see what's wrong.
Look at the instructions really quick, just to make sure that we're using the right number.
Yes.
So it's a 39 should do this. It should go 3 times 9 equals 27, and then 2 times 7 equals 41. 1 times 4 equals 4, and 4 is only one digit. So the question is it iterating through each of those? Because it came up to a much bigger number.
Yeah, it's iterating correctly. So let's do this. Let's console right line our X and just see what values we're getting out.
There we go.
Who can say?
Look at this. There's your 3, and look at that.
The 9. Look, there they are.
3 and 9. And what's that? Why is that next number just kicked out into 207? Is that because the array had only 2 items in it?
Yes.
All right.
Temp came in.
Right. There's only 2 items, so the 4 each. It only did it twice.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. According to the instructions, it's not just supposed to do the 3, 9. It's supposed to do also the 2 and the 7. So that means it has to check again. I think that's where we're missing a step. It has to check again. Hey, your value back.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot more work to do. But if I do this input value, okay, of X, and then I come down and say, there's that. This is my single pair.
Oop, don't forget the quote. Yep, there we go.
And then my value.
And then the final right line is make sure it says out straight out that last.
You know what? I'm going to make that a long.
Okay.
Because no, it can be an int because it's only one character.
Correct.
And then this one we want to say is output.
Folks, what we're learning over here also is the fact that the programming itself can, how do we say it, show you what it's doing inside of it, and this is the key. If you can always like make yourself a view. It's like making an engine that's invisible, that has an invisible case.
Right.
Up. X does not exist in the current context. How come? because it's outside, sir.
Which one? Oh, not X. I'm sorry. N.
That's
right.
why. There we go.
Copy and paste. All right. Input value of 39. Single character is 3. Value of char is 3. Single char is 9. Value of char is 9. Output is that?
Let's look at your output. Where are you putting your output? Because you have accumulator look times equals X. Maybe that's the bad code.
All right. Oh, you know what? Try that.
Let's try it. Hold on a second. Interesting.
Uh, 15.9. Doesn't like this. Single equals, right?
Okay, right.
2 equals would be checking for equivalence.
Right. Hey, still
get the same big value.
Accumulator. What? So where's it? What's the first accumulator on the first one? The value of the accumulator on the first one. See, we have value of char. What's the first accumulator before you calculate? You see how you have accumulator equals accumulator? Before that, what is accumulator value? Yes, and what is it after? So that means we're going to see that twice.
Yes. We should see it 3 times. We should see accumulator at the beginning where it's 1.
Right, right.
Before we do the multiplication, and then after we do the multiplication.
Yes.
So.
Aha, look at that. See that 51?
Accumulator's 1. Yeah. Pre-accumulator's 1. Post-accumulator is 51.
So that first one how did that become a 51?
How did that become a 51?
So the accumulator was 1 equals 1 times X. Well, hold on a second. But X is supposed to be.
Oh, here's the problem.
That's not X.
Is wrong. It should be value.
Value. Ooh, look at that.
X is my character.
That's right. You're going through the character. We don't want to. The character is ASCII. Maybe it's multiplying against the ASCII.
Let's look. Chart. I love my ASCII charts.
You're gonna look for X. I mean, what's the letter? ASCII for the number 3.
ASCII for the number 3. I'm guessing it is 51.
Sure enough.
There we go.
Ta-da! We've just discovered something new. That apparently when we car something, it knows the actual value of the car, and that's what it's been turning into, a value. We've been converting the car ASCII.
There we go.
Interesting.
So the accumulator is 27. Okay.
There we go.
All right, so let's do this. So while, now we put our loop around. Aha. I'll return my count. While accumulator.toString.length is greater than 1. Okay.
Yep. Don't you have, and now you have to update temp.
This is not going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I want to see the problem. I can tell you it's not going to work, but I'll run it anyway. Run the test. Put my while loop in there. I got a 0. Why did I get a 0? Well, because my accumulator starts out as 1.
Right.
That's not what I want. Ah, what about N? Wow.
So you're going to take out accumulator now and call it N, or are you going to
N
assign it?
.toString.
Aha.
N is that. And down here at the end of my for loop, I set n equal to accumulator.
That way, yeah, remember I said the accumulator has to be updated.
Yep, we have to update our accumulator as we go. Sending a request. Somewhere in the background, there's a computer that's compiling that and running it.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
It timed out. You got into a loop somewhere. Your while statement was not dropping down.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. We also didn't increment our count.
That's right.
Right? So count plus. I'm going to put this up at the very beginning.
We need a count there in the beginning. There we go.
And I'm going to put an or count greater than 11. Okay. Just because the Wikipedia article says that it should never be longer than 11.
All right. Got it.
Okay. So I'm going to move this console right. No, I'll leave that console right there. Put this one here. Let's see what we get. Test.
Well, here's good news. My meeting that was supposed to come up right after this got moved to next week. The bad news is it got moved to our session next week.
Oh, wow.
They didn't respect my I'm busy. Oh well.
So I'm going to take this off. I'm just going to have the one test.
All right.
Let's do one test.
So you think it's a test that was the issue?
Well, I don't know.
It seems to me that maybe it's just in a loop that's not coming out.
Yeah, I know what's happening. I see it. Here's the problem. Oops. Here's the problem. Right there. I change my 10, but I don't change my 10.
Oh, that's right. There we go.
All right. Now I get my answers back.
There we go. Check it out. It's now building itself out. But now it's not stopping. It should have stopped somewhere sooner.
So 39, accumulators 1, the single carriage 3, the value of carriage 3. So I can take those out. We're fairly confident that we're getting the right value of carriage.
Right.
And the single carriage. Okay.
All right. Got it.
I'm going to take those out. I'm going to rerun it just because cluttering up.
So we can now see closer to what we're getting close.
Input value of 1. Or 39 rather. Accumulators 1, pre-accumulators 1, post-accumulators 27, new in is 27.
Right.
All right. What it's doing.
Oh, we forgot to clear it.
And we forgot to clear it. N equal to accumulator equals 0.
You got to clean out the accumulator each time.
Yes. All right, so input value equals 39. 39, 3, 27, new in is 27. Pre-accumulator, it shouldn't be 0. My accumulator has to be 1.
Because it's 1 times. Otherwise, it'll multiply against 0 and kill itself. Got it.
Try it again. Getting closer. Hey, we passed all the tests.
And you passed the test.
We passed all of them. What's next?
All the way up to 11. Hey, we turned it up. Hey, you see anyone see the slight reference over here? Larry turned it up to 11.
Turned it up to 11.
Yes. It wasn't there before. He just added that.
Added that one in. Okay. So now I can attempt. So attempt to pass the full test suite.
All right. Attempt.
All right. Let's see. Before I've just been testing. Let's do this. So their tests are going to be bigger than mine or different than mine.
Uh-huh.
And there were 2 tests. Oh, I passed the basic test. I also passed 100 random tests.
Wow.
Nice. And so I passed all the tests.
You passed all the tests, and you got a smiley.
Yes. So I submit it.
And then
I'm
they're
not
going to say,
proud of it, you know.
do they give you like an analysis of your code? Hey, this is great, but your code could have looked like this. In fact, there it is. Check it out.
In fact, here's what we get. What we get are the best practices. So this is a better way of doing what I did. So
Okay.
they use link.
Oh, they use link. Well, duh. Of course, it's going to, okay. So really quick, folks, link is just simply a way, a data view way, almost like SQL-y way of, let's just say, doing math in this particular case.
Right.
So
and instead of checking the length of n, which I was doing, I was turning it into a string and checking its length to make sure that it was only 1 digit.
right.
Hey, dude, you don't have to do that. Just check and see if it's bigger than 9.
So
we're base 10.
You did 11, so now base 9, 10. Base
So
10,
no,
so
the
it's
number
9.
that comes in, right? While the n, the
The
value
n can only be 0 to 9 anyway. So
right. If it's 0 to 9, that means we've gotten down to a single digit. That means we found the persistence, and that way we can stop and get our count.
Got
so
it.
they n.toString, they select the digits from that string.
Mm-hmm.
They parse that, and then they aggregate it. Look, there's a link statement that does aggregation.
Aggregation.
This is they aggregate based on this.
On basically taking the 2 pairs and then multiplying them against each other, which is exactly what it said in the statement, right? The 2 pairs, or the pair, I should say. Here's a 3 and a 9. 3 and a 9, for example, is 3 times 9, which is exactly what that says. And so it starts aggregating them until it builds up to get your result.
And that becomes our new n, and then we just add our count, and this works.
And do it again until you get to your cert.
Right. And so here's someone else that did it a different way. Right.
That was closer to your way, except they did a while within a while.
And they're using remainders, right? That's 10. That's an L. That's an L at the end.
Yep.
If I zoom in, so that's casting this to a long, or that's setting the type of this value to a long.
In place. It's doing it in place.
So that they match. Okay?
All right.
So that there's no boxing or unboxing.
But the same issue over here, the while is going in the same way. See how it's like the 9, the digit.
Right. All right. And so what they're doing is they're saying, while the n is greater than 9, while it's more than a single digit, you create a multiplier as 1. That was my accumulator. And then they say, while n is greater than 0, you do the mul times n mod 10. So they're taking just the remainder when you divide it by 10, and then they're doing a div 10. Okay? Same kind of deal there. Look, here's one that's really quick. This one's recursive because, we can't have nice stuff without people recursing. Persistence, right? So this is calling into itself. Now, in real life, so this is clever. I love it. I love this answer.
I like that one, actually. That's really neat.
I went out of my way.
And, well, he's still using link, though. He's still using link.
Yes, he's using the aggregate, which is a great method. I love that, too. The recursion. And look, he's got the tertiary operator, right? The question mark. So here's our condition.
Condition.
And then our if that's our if.
Yes.
And else. Okay. So the thing about it, let's be real here. recursion makes nice, compact, easy to understand answers, but in reality, we never use them in production code.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a bad code smell to have recursion. Why? Why, you ask? Well, because recursion is hard to do well. If you get an escape, it's going to bring a system down.
Oh,
Right?
like you saw earlier when you mucked it up, you saw how like that error that would kill a system. That would be bad to happen in the cloud.
Right, because every time you call into the next method, you're increasing the amount of data that's on the stack, because that whole stack frame has to go in place. Okay.
Exactly.
So anyway, here's another one. While true.
So that one's no link. This is the no link way.
Look, here's one. Here's just a single line. Somebody's playing code golf. They're trying to get the smallest number of letters. So static int persists long is one of these just inline methods, right?
Yes.
N is less than 10. Oh, it's another recursion. So n's less than 10, return a 0, else return a 1.
Right.
And it's using link as well. Okay. So what do you think? Is this worth looking at?
Is it worth looking at? Oh, look, clever. Let's click on clever.
Okay.
See how it says sort by best practices? Look, let's look what it says for clever. So hey, so that same guy is there also, not only best practice, but he's also clever.
Right. Best practice and clever.
All right. Oh wait, hold on a second. Scroll up for a moment. I just want to see that, as you can see, that wasn't the only user that came through it. Now, of course, here's the thing though. I could have been the user and I saw it as copy pasted, ran my test again as somebody else, and would come up with the same result. So at the very least, one of these folks came up with this answer, and the other one's probably copied it to be exact. Is the only thing I can think of, because I can't believe that somebody's going to come up with exactly the same thing and then call them, as they say, because sometimes we're different, right? Like, why would I have called the thing N when we could? Remember, like you saw Larry, he used the word accumulator. He had longer names for certain things. Using the small names is fine, but that's actually not a good practice necessarily. We like when variables and things like that sort of identify themselves, so that when they hit, it's like, what's the error? Well, X didn't come out. Well, what the heck's X? Everyone's using X everywhere. Be a little clear. It might be a little bit longer on the text, but maintaining it becomes a little bit easier.
Let's look at the oldest. This is the oldest. Okay.
Look at this person.
Neither best practice nor clever.
But it's a pass.
Right. I could vote for these.
Yeah.
But this is the oldest. So here's a car array of digits.
That's more similar to what you tried to do. This is closer to what you tried to do.
If digits length is equal to 1, return. Oh, look, they're doing recursion.
Yep.
Just right off the bat. The oldest one.
The oldest one. Yeah.
Okay. Here's one that doesn't do recursion.
Again, more closer to yours.
Right. So it's got the int x. That was my accumulator.
Uh-huh.
That's accumulating the value. Then they set into x. There's where they reset x to 1.
Uh-huh. There we go.
All right. So that's it. Once I finish that, look, I can go to the next kata. Try another challenge.
Right.
What's really great about this is I could also, though, come here and try it in Go. What?
What? Oh, you have to solve the kata first?
I can try this again in Go. Or in.
Oh, you have to try it from scratch again.
What language do you want to use?
Java.
There you go. So I can do this same problem in any of these languages, and that's one of the reasons why they're not using the live code. I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Maybe this site's just old and was before they actually had it out. But
right.
No matter what language you're using, Lua, any of these you can test and write your program.
Prologue, really? Prologue? I haven't heard Prologue in a long time, and it's
Oh, isn't that awesome?
Prologue.
Yeah.
The Prologue is from the freaking 70s, man.
Dude, is there Fortran? I don't see Fortran.
Well,
COBOL.
I got COBOL.
Just because, you know.
But wait a minute, look at this. This looks so familiar. I like the linkage section. There's the procedure, and here's the code.
Yeah. You can choose what language version you want. So C#.
You know what I did not expect to see is a test in COBOL. That was not back in the day. We didn't exactly do testing our code with that, right?
For sure.
Let me get some light over here. Probably Raquel's all upset. I'm really tiny with darkness. Here we go. Dark.
Little in your corner of darkness down there.
In my corner of darkness, yes.
So I mean, personally, I'm all about people coming in and trying this and using this. I think that it's a great thing. If you've got, 15 minutes between meetings, pull one of these up and just do this instead of playing solitaire. Right? Because at least this is advancing your career.
This is true. If you're a coder, of course.
Yes, if you're a coder. Well, but it doesn't matter if you're front end or back end because look.
That's right.
I can come down here. Here's JavaScript. Woohoo!
Sure
any language that you can think of that you, well, not
hey,
any.
Check it out. It's for testing. It's using Chai.
Oh yeah, Chai. Cool. All right.
It is well.
Coffee script.
So technically speaking, I think you could probably tell it to use something else because if it's talking to the JavaScript stuff, if there's more than Chai, you can probably point to it. Just like you saw folks just using Link. You see, here's the thing: the folks that use Link, there was no clue that said, "Hey, by the way, you can use something besides system," because Larry solved it. Well, here's system. I'm going to solve it with system.
Right.
If it said off the bat in the example using Link, then it's an instant clue that says, "Oh, really? Let me try it with Link." Some folks say, I'm also seeing this also happening. A lot of folks that are doing this kind of C# stuff, Link is like their go-to straight up.
Right.
Everything that they have in all their templates, it's using Link. So they know they're going to use it. They're thinking about it from the get-go. So they're already going to start programming in that particular way. So what they're saying over here is clever right now and best practice says to use Link. Well, since they didn't recommend it, we're probably going to say maybe I should learn Link more, right? So this is actually a cool thing. Gives you an idea on what you should probably pick up to learn and understand more in your particular field or language that you're doing. I like the fact that, but here's the thing though, it doesn't exactly give you commentary. It says, well, this was better because it just simply says this is best practice because people voted it. Best
exactly.
Practice.
Yes. There's that.
They did not. The Code Wars folks didn't say this is really best practice and you should be doing this because I could be the development manager for somewhere. I was like, no, I know what people voted, but no, that's not how our code standards go. Your code standards will vary, by the way, wherever you go. And as they say, follow your boss. And if you want to tell your boss that they're wrong, you better be ready to code war them over here. Actually, that'd be a good one. It's like, hey, there's two different ways of doing it. All right, let's put it through Code Wars. It's like a thumb war. Let's have a code war and see who wins, right, on that one, or try to find that pattern that we're trying to do and see which one Code Wars has shown is probably a better way. And then, of course, the development lead can look at that and say, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, thumbs up.
For those about to code, we salute you.
Well, best practice doesn't necessarily mean maintainable as well.
Right. See, that's the key. Best practice was like they were able to do it. It was clever. It was short. But is it maintainable? See, like I remember what I was saying, ands and x's. To me, I'm looking at that. I'm like, well, what exactly is going on over here? We're trying to solve a persistence problem. Well, okay, you're solving something that's not real world to begin with. So there's no context. All I can say, when I look at it, I can't even tell if it works until I actually run it myself. I mean, it looks clever, but until I physically run it, I'm not like a computer machine that's going to say, yeah, that's really good, because in my head, I'm going to think of it the same way. No, in my head, I'm probably solving it in a different way, solving that kind of math problem.
And it depends on the community that is going to be doing the maintenance as
That's
well.
true.
Because, if you're in a community of semi-geniuses, right, that all enjoy coding and they're deep into the minutia, then maybe it's perfectly fine to have that one-liner because everyone's going to understand it.
That's right.
But when you bring in junior developers, when you're working as a consulting firm or with a consulting firm, that let's be frank, a lot of people hire in consultants at the cheapest dollar they can. And it's unlikely that they're going to have the same level of skill. And that's not saying they're bad people or bad programmers. It just means that they're different.
Right.
And, we need to find out where that water line is and strive to hit that line every time.
So really quick, you've succeeded in this particular area. Does this site actually track your progress and give you stars and abilities and all that stuff? So this is the other part. The other part is if you're trying to create training and try to see where you're at, this is the gamification piece of it, right? I think that's the gamification sounds trite, but it's actually important because what's the point of doing? I always tell people it's the same metrics. You got to have a way of measuring something. What's the point of something if you say, how did you do? I think I did okay. That's not good. How did you do? I made $100. Okay. That's number. That's a number. That's a better metric than how are you feeling? I mean, it was great for the Star Trek movie, but that's, that's not going to do. You're not going to get there with this. You need to have a number. So like you completed one kata, so you earned the one kata completion. You're still a white belt, so you're obviously going to be working your way up. The other one had belts. I think the other kata places had, as you went up the level, it actually gave you colored belts as you went up.
Yeah. So this has different Cayus.
Yeah, the Cayus is what they call it.
So if I go to practice, I can see the difficulty, and so these are the ranks, right? 8 all the way up to 1.
Right.
So let's look at a 1 problem.
Wait a minute. Is 1 hard or is?
Yeah, no, 1 is hard. 8 is.
It's reversed. 1 Caillou is the is like the top. It's the purple belt.
Yeah. So
apparently,
here's 7 by 7 skyscrapers. In a grid of 7 by 7 squares, you want to place a skyscraper in each square with only some clues. The height of the skyscraper is between 1 and 7. No 2 skyscrapers in a row or column may have the same number of floors. So this is Sudoku.
Got it. It is.
There we go. A clue is the number of skyscrapers that you can see in a row or column from the outside. Higher skyscrapers block the view of lower skyscrapers located behind them. Can you write a program that solves this puzzle in time?
In time? What is that time? Oh, time for dinner?
No. You remember the reason that my code before that had the misbehaving loop?
Yep.
It was eventually stopped. It was not allowed to run to completion.
That's right.
That's what they mean by in time.
Oh. So it might have, if it let it go, it might have brought in an answer.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't let it go. It's like, well, as far as we're concerned, it's a failed because you took much longer than the response that we expected.
Yeah.
So
the test for
12.
So
here's the thing: 12 seconds is like eternity on the internet here. That's a long time. So this is clearly not a straightforward problem. There's a lot of math that's going on over here.
Yes.
10 seconds on the internet is a lot. I mean, 10 seconds on any system. If you think about it now, how fast processing power is, anything that's like more than 2 or 3 or 4 seconds. That's not latency of your web coming through the internet. This is the actual math going on at the compute level.
Right. It is calculating the amount of time it takes for the code to complete.
Yes.
And yeah, so that is an extra constraint on this, that your code needs to be efficient. It doesn't just need to be correct. it needs to be able to complete within 10 seconds. And that's what this person has here. Look, they have the tests in this program run in around 10 seconds for each one of the JavaScript tests. And that's okay. It will not cut you off. I'm guessing that from this, that 10 seconds is how long it will wait for a test to complete before it kills it. Very cool. All right, we're past time. I know your meeting moved and we started late, but we could sit here and do this all day. Pardon me. We could sit here and do this all day. And I would love it. The weekend beckons.
Indeed. So, what do we? Well, again, this is cloud in the cloud. What did you do? You're on a browser. Well, you could have been on a Mac or any device. Actually, you probably could have done this from your phone. Probably hard to see, but you could have done it from there too.
And just for fun, I mean, I'm doing this in WaterFox. I'm not doing it in Chrome or Edge or any of the modern.
Even your browser is not even up to whatchamacallit, one of the famous ones.
Right. I'm using one of my alternative browsers.
Wow, Mr. Alternative.
So yeah, anyone can do this. You can do this on a library computer.
Got it. That's true.
So here's one thing: sign out. I signed in with GitHub.
Ooh.
Okay, it links directly to your GitHub. And here's the next challenge that it has up for me. I don't want to do CoffeeScript though. I'm going to do C#. Here's the next C#, the sum of the odd numbers. Given the triangle of consecutive odd numbers, calculate the sum of the number in the nth row of the triangle, starting at index 1. Okay. Yeah.
Did it want you to display? Does it ask you to display it like that, or they're just showing? They're just doing a visual representation of what the numbers should be.
Right. They're showing a visual representation, and they want you to return the
array,
the sum of the numbers in that row.
Got it.
So in my brain, I'm seeing a list of lists. And yeah, I just keep putting numbers in the list until I get to.
Oh, look at this. Scroll down for a minute. I want to see that there you have allies and you have a clan.
Oh yeah. I could clan up. There's a discourse that's associated with it where people are, commenting about the different problems. So it's active 2 minutes ago.
Right? Wow.
An active, good place. It's a community. Join it.
Highly recommend for those folks there, especially if you're like coming fresh out of college or going through all this stuff. Very useful to have. One thing that when back in the day, even at Magenic, we had there was a fellow that used to do this once a week. And that's actually was a good thing. The only thing, of course, once people started getting billing, then I think he sort of was told you can't have those anymore, which was not, I don't think that was a great idea. I think they should have allowed him time to continue to do that. Give them take a breath. Let's go play a little bit of that so we can keep on going. I think they should have allowed for that. This could be even a user groupy type stuff if you were thinking about putting something like that together. But frankly, this is a great idea. Instead of shooting each other and online stuff here, challenge each other to, especially your fellow coders, challenge each other to these patterns. Yeah.
Freestyle sparring. Take turns remixing and refactoring others' code.
Look at that. Chat. You can discuss, meet people, get jobs.
Right. They have a Code Wars Red, which is, you can sign up for.
Head-to-head comparison, ad-free experience. profile badge. Again, some of these features, again, if you're in the market and you want to like show off like your stuff, the fact that this is linked into GitHub means that your potential employer will see it. I'm telling you this as a potential employer that we look at things in your LinkedIn, and if you tell us you have a GitHub, we actually take the time to look because we sort of know what we're doing when we're looking in there. It's not that recruiter that doesn't know what it is, what the terms mean. The recruiter might maybe give us the intro because they think they know something. That's all fine and well, but there's folks like myself that follow up and say, yeah, so now let's actually look at this. No, that's not what they think it is. And we'll follow it up. So no faking.
No faking. Yeah. Well, and these cloud communities are still communities.
Yeah.
And being a leader in a community, whether it's in the cloud or in the in your neighborhood, that means something. And employees do look at it.
I'm still chagrined that we've been doing this for a while, and there's some folks who like just started in like a year, and they managed to like have like a lot more followers or subscribers and going through all that stuff, and just realizing it's a bit of effort, right? You get in there, but here's the thing: once you're recognized, somebody may pay you or show their gratitude for the fact that you've gotten that.
I don't know, the Michael Jordan of online communities would be John Skeet, right? I mean, dude, Stack Overflow legend, just now I believe a Microsoft fellow.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
It does pay off.
It does. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
All right.
That's all
okay, Raquel, you can sign us out. We went over the time thanks to my meeting getting canceled over here and moved to next week. We'll figure that out. If there's no show next week, it's because Ralph couldn't figure it out. But or it's just the Larry show. We'll see what happens. All right.
Yeah.
But otherwise, thanks all for this special edition of Cloud Talk Show. And we'll maybe
do we need to sing our song?
We said, hold on a second. Remember that little Twitter link? Did you see that Twitter link I put up there and I CC'd you on? I want you to follow that. That's an Azure piece. Go take a look. Go look in your notifications. There's that one item I would like to deep dive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, really nice one. And I'm still trying to get the AI person in play. We're getting there.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
We have real credit.